Councilmember Comnic.
Here.
Councilmember Colomer.
Here.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Here.
Councilmember Baker.
Here.
Moore.
Here. I'd like to ask everybody in attendance to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence in honor of our troops.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The following items have been placed on the consent agenda, are routine in nature and will be passed with one vote of the council. Should any member of the council or the audience wish to have an item removed from the consent agenda for individual consideration, please say so now, and it will be removed and considered following the approval of the remaining consent items. Consent items include minutes from the council meeting on December 8th, 2025, payroll for the pay period ending December 13th in the amount of $252,223.79, and for the pay period ending December 27th in the amount of $261,172.31, staff reports, and Bach report. Do I have a motion to approve consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Colomer.
Here. Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. Next, we have approval for the bills for December 22nd in the amount of $88,969.70. Do we have a motion to approve payment of the bills?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
I do have some questions and clarification. According to Constellation New Energy, that's on the first set of bills versus the Ameren that's in the second. I thought we approved the kind of continuation of an energy provider contract, or what are the differences there between Constellation and Ameren? Because there are charges for street lights, parks. It seems like on the first side, Constellation is everything, and then
Yeah, so there's certain things that Constellation couldn't take over that Ameren has to bill for,
Okay.
which is most of the streetlights that we have, which is why that's the biggest amount.
what limits that? Do we know?
So Constellation just is the supplier.
Right.
Everything else, all of the fixed costs, the infrastructure, all of that still comes through Ameren.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. For the next one, Dear Credit, which is right below it, there's an imbalance between the debit and the credit. And just, I don't know, as a note there, if you could double check that one.
Yep.
Sorry, we have a lot of pages here.
This is a really big one.
This is a question maybe for Public Works. The Crawford Murphy Tilly for Church and Wiley water main. What did we need engineering certification or assistance there? And that has a few other charges, so I have a few other questions. Maybe you could just kind of tell us what happened at Church and Wiley.
Sure, yeah. It was a pretty good sized water main project, so we ended up replacing a significant amount of water main there. And when you do that, you have to go through the IEPA permitting process. And so
Okay.
Crawford Murphy Tilly provided engineering services for that to coordinate that.
Okay, but those were emergency repairs.
This Church and Wiley project, yeah, I think so. It ended up being prioritized because it was an emergency there. Yeah.
And then we also replaced a gas line for a home, a residence on the end of the street. Was that damaged or an
Yeah.
opportunistic thing?
No, it was damaged by the activities in the area.
Okay. Was that our contractor or
That
our
was us.
crews? Okay.
Yeah.
And is that again an example of your hydro excavator would have helped avoid that, or was this kind of an unavoidable thing, or?
A hydro excavator probably would not have done that. It was hit with a backhoe.
Yeah.
We had a locate called in, but it was just, unfortunate mistake there.
Okay, all right. So this is a curious one. The signals on top of Type A poles along Main Street, the Davenport Electric. What are those signals? Just curiosity.
These are, my understanding was that these signals are mounted using hardware that was starting to wear out. So as the wind, we had some really windy days, they started to turn. And so we had the signals themselves were becoming loose and rotating on their mounting.
Got it.
And so they came through and replaced the hardware, the U-bolts and nuts and stuff that were holding that together.
So 7,800 in hardware and contracting costs. Is that fair and reasonable? Or, I mean, it just seems like a lot of money for hardware. Did they replace the traffic signals?
No, I just think they addressed a significant amount of them. I'm not sure how many days they were actually doing that.
Interesting.
That does seem like a lot of money for,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a lot of poles that have signals on them, I wouldn't think.
For these, I think, it is a state route, but we're still responsible for maintaining the flow of traffic on it.
This came from the $78,000 or whatever that we received.
Falls into that agreement, yes.
That is an unfair agreement. All right, we'll move on to LiDAR. What was the grant for the LiDAR? LiDAR is interesting technology. What's our planned use for that?
Is that a public works thing?
Nope.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Usually used for elevation mapping and things like
Right.
that, but, so I thought it was you, Chris, but.
It's a handheld LiDAR unit just to read speeds. It's paid for with an IDOT safety grant that we're part of.
Okay.
Complete costs. I think we paid a little bit for shipping. I don't remember how much, maybe $50 or less.
Okay, so it's a traffic management.
Traffic,
system.
yep, run speed.
Got it.
With light.
Yeah. Okay, for the solid waste disposal, Ecology Solutions, I know that we've got one here that's associated with trash pickup and disposal, but this one for 2,963, I know that they were shut down for up to a third of a month over the last couple months. Is this charge reflective of their downtime, or are we paying full price, or how did we resolve the inconsistent service at the transfer station?
All right, I'll
A lot of questions there. So.
Yeah, I'll do the last part first.
Yep.
That contract is up for renegotiation in April, so we've met with LRS and we've already sort of set forth some preliminary terms. Both parties seem amenable to them, so we'll be revising that language and transmitting it back to them probably this week.
Okay.
And then, we'll look to finalize that new contract in March. A lot of the improvements there will be like additional containers, with the option for LRS to be able to dump some recycling there and maybe some roll-off dumpsters from projects around town. This way it speeds up their workflow and allows them to change out their containers faster.
Okay.
And then also just, better standards for the equipment that's out there, and, more maintenance, and more of a paper trail on that maintenance.
Okay.
So I think, that's going to be a good situation. Now, when it comes to the solid waste disposal here, I'm not sure if that's actually directly related to the transfer station or not. Who is that from again?
It's Ecology Solutions.
Ecology Solutions.
And there's two charges. There's one that's $9,000, which I would have thought was aligned with the residential program, the pickup and disposal. And then there's a second charge for $2,963, which I'm not sure, but I was questioning whether that's just for the management and operation.
So Ecology Solutions is who bills us for the
Oh, but that's
waste.
for pickup. And this is for the disposal.
Yes, exactly.
Ecology Solutions are the ones that bill us for everything that goes from the transfer station to the landfill.
Right.
So everything we take there. So it could have just been like two separate bills. It could have been
Okay, nonetheless, my question here is really, was there financial consideration provided to the city from Ecology Solution for being shut down for 10 days out of 30?
No.
No, okay. Did we request any financial consideration from them, or how did they, I know that we've got the performance resolution.
They bill twice a month. And the average amount that they bill each time is about $15,000. So they, on the invoice, tell us what they picked up, how much it was, and how much they charge like per ton.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, this is reflective of, since we were shut down, they didn't take as many loads.
Okay, I guess I don't fully understand the scope for that contract and what their service requirement is at the transfer station and how that's being billed. But it sounds like you've got it under control for March, though. So
That is just, it's not part of the, I don't want to say maintenance agreement, but it's just the cost of
All in.
us dumping everything there,
it's just their tipping fee.
basically. Yes.
Okay.
And I would say there was no compensation back and forth from being closed, because it was dual-sided. And it
So
was
we
something
closed.
that we worked out. It wasn't completely their fault that we were closed, but that's something that was handled between the two parties.
Okay, just one more piece on that. Any reimbursement would come from a performance bond that's on the contract. It would come from LRS and their bond surety. It wouldn't come from the Ecology Solutions.
Is it not the same company?
No.
So, okay, when I look up LRS, Ecology Solutions comes up. So, okay, neither here nor there, whether it's LRS or Ecology, really the interest predominantly, which I think you've already answered, is performance and consistent service level at the transfer station. Yeah. So, yep, thanks. The other one, it seems like we may have gotten 2 bills here for the same backflow prevention testing at the train station. Did we actually have 2 different incidents?
Yeah, there's 2 of them there. So they came out and tested both. That's why one's for 390 and the other one's for 385.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, last one, I'll let you off the hot seat. I actually skipped a few. But Hutchinson Engineering.
That's on my list here too. We PCI 31,000 that we're paying for, but have we seen it?
Yeah, they presented a preliminary data set, so now they're just working out the last little bits of, like, I asked them to add latitude, longitude for me, different columns to add to the spreadsheet at this point. The data set is complete, the collection is complete, all the video is archived, so we have that data will be delivered pretty shortly. But yeah, just a little bit more work going back and forth with the engineers on how this fits into a GIS system and stuff like that.
Is this final payment for the position, or for the pavement condition index?
No, there's probably going to be one more. Right now we're about 40,000 in. I would say there'll probably be another one for 10 or 15 or so.
Are you good with that?
Yeah.
I guess I'm good with that. I just want to voice, I am increasingly concerned at the schedule risk for getting out scopes of work for bid, for getting our streets program off the ground in the spring for this next year.
I second that. It seems like we're always behind the 8 ball and then get started late in the season and we get everything out late. And this year we were supposed to get it out ahead of time with them. And here we are. Like, I second the same concern, because, I mean, we were promised this in the beginning of December, and here we are in January.
So,
And honestly, I think I mentioned this before. I think that was a little ambitious on their part, because when it was
We
first-
asked him.
Yes, I know.
We did ask him.
I know.
We held his feet to the fire
I
and
know.
said, if you think that, do you think that? We're not saying pin it down to this date. And he said, no, without a doubt. And we let him off and gave him some leeway to walk it back. So it was ambitious on his part, but that was his own doing.
Nonetheless, our residents know that their sales tax increased January 1st. We need to show them some actionable projects and some results in the street department this summer.
They will be ready by the end of the month to present to you. So we're waiting from them to find out how long their presentation will be, to see if you guys want to do that during a council meeting or hold a special meeting for it.
Yeah, what date did they suggest? Was it
The second meeting, so the 23rd, 4th,
Yeah.
whatever.
sometime after the 19th?
I have to say, I share your concerns as well, but I have additional questions. We pay, in my opinion, an extraordinary amount in engineering fees. Do you have an opinion? I know the last city engineer that we employed, before he left, he felt that there was not enough work here for us to employ an engineer. I'm not so sure that I agree with that assessment at this point. Do you have a gut feeling on that one? If we employed a city engineer, could he be doing some of the same work that we are hiring out?
Oh, yes, I mean, they
Would it
have
be-
the same qualifications. It's a tough choice to make, because when you have a full-time staff engineer, it's a single person. So you put them on a project, and now 5 other projects come up, and they won't be able to cover all of them in the time that they need to be covered. So when you contract out for engineering services, I can employ 50 engineers to make that happen really fast. So I think maybe a hybrid
At what
approach would
expense
be
though,
good.
50 engineers?
Right, but you could get a year's worth.
It's
of
real easy to
engineer
say that I
time.
can employ this many engineers, but we have taxpayers that we have to answer to that want to be accountable for the money that we're spending.
Yeah, and in general, the cost of our engineering services run along the lines of what the state accepts for engineering services to be, the total cost of the project. So in general, like, we're not overspending on engineering services. Our engineering services are almost always within the 10 to 15% range of the cost of the project.
And Mayor, if I may, I am accepting what Chris is saying personally, and I don't disagree with that answer at all. I think if we could really improve our schedule adherence, now we'd be more in a line. But it's the seeing the bills go out and the not seeing the product come back that's causing the most concern for me.
They need to be held accountable, plain and simple. We need to find a way to do it. If it's not working with who we're contracting with, then we can go elsewhere. Hutchinson's Engineering, I think is a very strong firm. I've gotten to be very good friends with several other people from Hutchinson, but I have to do what's best for the citizens, not what's best for Hutchinson Engineering.
I agree. I'd love to talk to you more about it during the week sometime.
Absolutely. I would love to have that conversation. Sure. We ready to vote on this? Do you have any more? Okay. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic.
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. And now we have approval for the bills of January 12th in the amount of $954,373.36. Do we have a motion to approve payment of these bills?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on that?
I think we're just
Sorry, we discussed them all.
Please call the roll. Don't apologize. We got there.
Yeah.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic.
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer.
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. It is now time for public comments. If there's anyone who wishes to address the council, and that's not going to happen because I don't think we have.
Oh,
We do.
yeah, come on
I
up.
apologize. I thought I mistook you for somebody else or another agent. I apologize.
That's quite all right. I take no offense. My name is Kirsten Sheets. I'm a senior project development manager with Trajectory Energy Partners. I was here about March of last year, introduced myself to several of you. But I'm back again because we have now filed our application for our community solar project that is out by OSF St. Luke. It is in partnership with OSF. It is on their ground, and they have a lease with us for that. We filed our application for rezoning classification and special use permit. So I'll be coming before you here in the near future, but we've mailed the neighbors in our outreach, our community outreach, and we are hosting an open house for our project. It's called Indigo Bunting Solar. And I'd like to invite you to the open house, please, and anyone who's listening to the City Council meeting today. It will be held at the Kewanee Public Library from 4 to 7 p.m. on January 14th. I have flyers here, and I'll come around and pass one to each of you. Thank you for the opportunity to address you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
So it's this Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see one or more of you there.
Thank you.
Same time.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else who wishes to address the council? Now we'll move on to new business. We will open up with a presentation from IHDA, Needs Assessment Presentation. We'll open this presentation by the Illinois Housing Development Authority. It highlights the results of 300 responses to the Kewanee Community Needs Assessment conducted by the City of Kewanee in partnership with IHDA. The survey was conducted from August through October of 2025 and is part of an effort to develop a community revitalization plan for Kewanee. We have a representative here.
My name is Amy Bashidi, and I am with the Illinois Housing Development Authority. I feel like I barely need to do an introduction anymore, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. But for those of you who are in the room and would like to participate or are at home watching, I will have a little bit of a brief public polling activity later in the presentation. So if anyone wants to participate, they can go to this QR code, which you should be able to see on your screen at home if you're watching, or go to www.menti.com and enter the code 14617013, and then you'll be able to participate in the activity a little bit later. So thank you again. My name is Amy Bashidi. I'm the Community Revitalization Services Manager for the Illinois Housing Development Authority, and I've been working with Katie Weber since July on a community revitalization plan and housing needs assessment for the city of Kewanee. And so the Illinois Housing Development Authority was formed in 1967. We're a quasi-governmental agency, so we're not actually funded out of state revenue. We're self-funded, we're a mortgage bank. And so we have a number of funding programs through both the federal government and the state government, as well as single-family housing programs, home ownership, down payment assistance, lots of different funding programs like that. And so part of my job is to form partnerships with communities throughout the state and help them determine what their housing needs are and plan to bring new housing into the community. So far, as part of our partnership, we have collected a bunch of data from the census, but we've also done this community needs assessment survey, which was completed from August through October of this last year. We had about 300 resident responses, which is a fantastic response rate. Thank you. And so I'm just going to go through a few of those data points from that survey. When asked the questions, housing in my community is in good condition, about 62% of total respondents actually disagreed that housing in Kewanee is in good condition. 35% disagreed that housing is available for the elderly, and 40% disagreed that it offers options that suit a variety of lifestyles. So that's a data point to keep in mind as you're thinking about new housing in the community. We also find that the community is not especially affordable. We found that 56% of Kewanee respondents disagreed that overall that housing costs in Kewanee are affordable, but 36% agree that their personal housing costs are affordable. When looking at the economy, we look at whether there's adequate commercial and retail development in the community, various types of retail and dining establishments. So we see some disagreement that the community has enough commercial and retail and a variety of retail and dining establishments. There's some disagreement that storefronts look well kept and attract shoppers. Disagreement that the downtown and Main Street is in good condition. Significant disagreement that there are a variety of employment opportunities that provide wages that enable folks to live in the community. But then more than half of respondents agree that they can run most of their errands within the community. So we do see that day-to-day ability to take care of your needs. Then we're looking at amenities and resources, so K through 12 education, affordable and nutritious food, banking services, health services, job training, legal services, mental health services, pharmacy care, and then post-secondary education. And so respondents most agree that their community has banking services that meet their needs, pharmacy care and services, and then K through 12 education, with almost 3/4 of people agreeing that there are K through 12 amenities to meet their needs. The vast majority of respondents also agree that the Kewanee has parks and public spaces for gathering and recreation, but 65% disagree that there's adequate commercial and retail development, which follows on from the previous questions I think you would see. Then we have more than 3/4 of respondents disagreeing that Kewanee has adequate, well-connected sidewalks. And then 40% of the community disagrees that it's easily traveled by foot. Then we see for engagement, there are opportunities in my community for recreation, dining, nightlife, community involvement, employment, and shopping and retail. And we do see a lot of agreement in recreation and dining, but less so in employment and nightlife. 42% of respondents disagreed that Kewanee is working to create a positive environment for the development of the community. We also had an open-ended question where we asked if you could describe any new development, housing, commercial, recreational, et cetera, that they think would most benefit the city of Kewanee, and we got a wide range of answers. But most commonly, we saw infrastructure improvements, streets and sidewalks, quality affordable housing for seniors and families, recreation and youth activities, greater variety in retail and dining, and jobs. The next step in our housing needs assessment and community revitalization plan is to put together a housing stock survey for the city of Kewanee. And what I mean by that is we have mapped out the entire community, every tax parcel, and every building in the community. And we had a training earlier in the evening with a volunteer on how to complete the housing stock survey. It's all done on an app. We do prefer that local volunteers accomplish the housing stock survey because you're more likely to know what's going on in your community. If my staff is happy to come down and help with the housing stock survey, but the thing about that is because we're never going on anyone's property, we're always staying on the sidewalk or the street. If there's a hole in the back of someone's roof, we don't know that, but you might know that because you're local folks and you would know. So the housing stock survey actually goes into a lot of detail about the overall community. And so the first thing we look at is the utilization of the parcel, so whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, if it's farmland, agricultural building, public building, that kind of thing. And so that can result in a really granular land use map for the community, so you know what each parcel is actually doing. And so we wind up with maps that look kind of like this for the utilization. Then we look at, if it's residential, we ask a bunch more questions about residential type, so single-family homes, detached and attached, multifamily of varying sizes, mobile homes, and then volunteers can also put unknown or cannot determine if they can't tell what kind of residential property it is. Then we look at occupancy. We can look at vacancy and occupancy for every property in the community. That gives you a good idea of where there might be clusters of vacant homes that might need some particular funding dollars or programs. So that provides a map of that. Then the main detail we're looking at is exterior condition of each residential property. And so at that point, we're ranking properties from a 5 down to a 1. 5 is excellent, well-maintained, occupied, no visible needs that we can see from it. Again, because we're only staying on the sidewalk or the street, it's best if local folks are able to do the survey because they might know more detail about the property. But so excellent is well-maintained. Then we go down to good, which might have some minor cosmetic issues that need to be taken care of. Average, fair, when you're starting to see cracks in the foundation, sagging porches, gutters falling off, that kind of thing. All the way to poor, where it really needs to be demolished. There's a tree growing through the roof, there's holes in the foundation, that kind of thing. But that gives you a map, very detailed map of housing quality throughout the community. So you're really able to see on a parcel by parcel basis where specific funding dollars might need to go, where you might need to target for home ownership programs or other kinds of homeowner education kind of programs, sometimes code enforcement. This will give you a good map of that. All right, so now's the time for the feedback. So if folks are ready, they can feel free. I'm going to go through some, I'm going to skip over some that are going to take longer just because interest of time. I know y'all have, it's getting late, y'all have had busy days and lots of things to go over in the meeting still. So I'm going to go pretty quickly through this and skip over a few of the open-ended ones. So the first question I'm going to address is which of these topics should be priorities for Kewanee? We've got improving recreational opportunities, building new housing, renovating existing housing, expanding workforce development, job training, and post-secondary education, creating community programs, activities, and events, improving downtown Kewanee, maintenance on vacant properties, improving city services and infrastructure. I would note that this poll will be available for 2 days, so if anyone at home wants to do it later or go to the website and pull it up and then fill it out at another point, you're welcome to do so.
Is that website in the comments?
Yeah, we put it.
Have the
It's menti.com, right?
Menti.com, and it's
Menti.com.
1461.
And then the code is 1461 7013.
1461. 1461.
1461 and then 7013.
Okay.
Menti.com.
7013. Okay.
Because this will be available. Oh, there we go. All right, so so far, we're seeing clear winners in improving downtown Kewanee and improving city services and infrastructure.
And so somebody can go tomorrow, tonight, later on, and continue to.
They'll flip through all the slides and they can click on the slide they want to answer and
Never done a Menti?
it'll come up.
No.
Oh,
like
but live.
how it's in real time right now.
Yeah.
While we're watching this a little bit, how are you feeling about the potential subjective analysis of having volunteers go around? Has your organization found any or experimented with AI cameras and things like that? Like we did some research on a company that provided a potential solution, but just found out that they were not quite, the software, and it was not mature enough.
Right.
But wondered if that's something that you guys are looking into.
We have not. One of the, I would probably object to using AI simply because it's part of my job is the outreach and the engagement of the community, and I do feel like if we have local volunteers, it really gets people involved in the housing needs assessment, it gets folks involved in the plan, brings more people to community meetings, and yes, the rankings are somewhat subjective, but we also have, like, there's the ability in the app to take a photo of the property and then we can check against it later. I think that for me, the local engagement of folks on the ground and, you know, my staff coming to town, me coming to town, meeting more people, like I'll probably come back once or twice and do a few blocks myself just to get to talk to more folks. I think that engagement is so important that I would prefer not to use an AI camera.
I like that answer, kind of your community, your solution type of idea. Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to the next one, leaving assuring that I'm not going to pull all these answers down until the end of the week at the earliest to make sure everybody's got time. But the next question is to rank these priorities by importance, with one being the most important: affordable housing, downtown revitalization, code enforcement, community engagement and programming, recreation, and business recruitment and retention. I think I would be very sad if I couldn't come to communities and actually do the work on the ground. It was something, it's one of the reasons I love my job.
Yeah, great, yeah.
So, from one respondent so far, we've got downtown revitalization taking the #1 spot.
Interesting is we have a $3 million project that'll be starting this spring.
Now we got affordable housing coming in #1. Is this something, Casey, that we could share on the city website too?
Yeah.
Facebook page? Everything, so that way if you
Yep,
wanted.
I wrote the code down so I can share.
Perfect.
I can even change the settings so that it can be available for longer, for a couple of weeks, if that would be something that you think people would participate in. In the week? Okay.
I added it to the Facebook Live too, so it's on the top with a link.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to move to the next one in the interest of time. What type of affordable housing design do you prefer? So the first one is multifamily, then we've got duplex and triplex, single family, or adaptive reuse and redevelopment.
For anybody out there that may not know multifamily duplex, can you explain some of the differences in these?
Of course, so multifamily, when we think about multifamily buildings, it can really be any number, a lot of different building types. But typically when people are thinking of multifamily buildings, they're thinking of larger complexes, right? So they're typically going to be multi-story buildings. In a small community like Kewanee, we probably wouldn't want to go above probably 3 or 4 stories, but a large building it involves multiple apartments. So duplex and triplex is usually just smaller buildings. We're talking about like 2 units stacked or side by side, or 3 units. So those are going to be smaller buildings. Single family homes, we all know what those are. Adaptive reuse and redevelopment. Let's say Kewanee has a high school that they don't use anymore. They built a new one, they've still got the old building. We've had several communities in Illinois have really good success with taking those old high schools, gutting them, and turning them into housing for, say, seniors or families, and affordable housing. And it's nice because they have those nice high ceilings that you see in schools. We have one in Paris, Illinois. It's the Tiger Senior Apartments. It used to be their senior high school. It's right on their main drag downtown. Beautiful older building. They gutted it and put, I think, 40 or 50 senior apartments in it. But they kept all of the details of the school. So the halls still have lockers in them. The library is still a library that's in use for the residents. I don't think they kept the cafeteria, but they still have the trophy cases and things like that. And when they were proposing this building, I got dozens of letters from community members who had gone to the high school and were so excited about the possibility of being able to live there when they were older and wanted to move out of their bigger homes. So that's adaptive reuse and redevelopment.
Okay.
To the next one. What type of housing development should Kewanee focus on? So we've got preservation, so making sure we're maintaining and keeping current housing in good shape and affordable. Demolition and greening, so you may have some housing that needs to be taken down and the lots cleared. Infill, which typically is building on vacant lots that are already in the middle of town, that already have all the gas and water and sewer and everything hooked up. Rehabilitation, rehabbing and rebuilding older properties. New construction, rental housing opportunities, home ownership opportunities, senior housing or supportive housing. So that's going to be for folks with mental disability, substance abuse, that kind of thing.
It's exciting to see a community watching and being directly involved in this presentation.
The other slides were for open-ended answers, and in the interest of time, we're just
Yeah,
not doing
yeah.
it right now. All right, so I'm going to move on. Kewanee needs more housing for families, seniors, luxury home buyers, students, young professionals, area workforce, or low-income individuals. Families, young professionals, low-income individuals, okay? Moving on. And this one is open-ended. All right. If you were in charge of the city's budget, which items would you invest in?
Oh,
Community programming, transportation access, bike lanes, sidewalks, roads. Affordable housing, new construction, rehab, senior housing. Downtown amenities like facade improvements, benches, streetscaping. Recreation, business recruitment, retention. Services, police, EMS, code enforcement. Or infrastructure, so internet, streets, sewer, water, gas. Or we've got infrastructure, which
our streets could use a little work.
affordable housing, transportation access, yeah. Okay. It's like infrastructure and transportation, bike lanes, streets, et cetera, are probably big deals. Followed closely by affordable housing, business recruitment. Good. Okay. Moving on. And that's all I have for this evening. I'm going to be available for questions, and we'll be in town multiple times over the coming months. So please feel free to reach out with questions. Thank you for your time.
I'm really looking forward to seeing further results on these charts.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And we have all the information. You spoke about some funding programs earlier. So we've got all that information. I'd like to, know more about that too.
Sure, I can send things. I'll communicating with Katie directly, so I can send her all kinds of things.
Thank you. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
That's great.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. Moving on to item B, bill number 26-01, resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a side letter of agreement to the existing collective bargaining agreement with International Association of Firefighters Local 513. There are times when a side letter of agreement becomes necessary. This happens for various reasons, including new issues that arise and the need to address the original intent of an article, as well as other concerns. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
And discussion.
Your chief's side.
Good evening.
Hey, Chief.
Chief, how are you?
Pretty good. What would you like to know?
Could
Everything.
Yeah.
you just explain it and tell us what problem we're solving?
Sure. We have in the contract with the local union incentive-based certifications they can get. It adds money to their hourly rate, and it's based off of the hours worked in a year's time. A couple of the highest certifications that we have incentives for are reserved for captains and lieutenants, and then captains, lieutenants, and engineers. We also have special officer positions, our fire investigator, our building inspector, things along those lines. One of the gentlemen who is in one of those positions does not hold a permanent rank high enough to get a certification, to get incentive for a certification that he's required to have to hold the position. If you're following.
Why do we have a person of a junior rank holding a position that maybe could be held by a senior rank?
It's kind of a weird situation. He's got a lot of years of experience, not all with the city of Kewanee. However, he's well qualified for the job. He's attained every other certification. And quite honestly, in this situation, it was an oversight that he wouldn't be able to get incentive for a certification we were requiring him to get. The certification is what's called Company Fire Officer, Officer 1 to the older firemen out there listening. Basically, the bulk of that class is leadership and decision-making, which if he's the head guy of our hazardous materials team and technical rescue operations, needs to have that kind of education.
So it is a requirement then?
It is, according to the Fire and Police Commission.
But we're removing exceptions for more than just one.
Gentlemen, yeah.
Unique
That
position.
is just, that covers all of the special officer positions. If you'd feel more comfortable, we can put in just that one, but it's hard to create a situation in a contract that only benefits one member of the union.
Well, for sure. I guess I'm just wondering, like, we design systems, for how we want things to work, not towards accommodation of individual, which is exactly what you're trying to say here. So in what way is it beneficial for the city's agreement with the union to remove all of these exceptions for ranks below a certain level that would normally hold these positions?
It doesn't. I think, me personally, anybody who attains these certifications should get the incentive. The keeping them for the higher permanent ranks was something that's been in the contract for a long, long time. And quite honestly, in the last 5 to 6 years, our fire department has done so much training. Everybody's trained to such a high level now. That doesn't make sense anymore to keep those people away from that incentive. It's like telling them we don't want them to get better trained.
Would a possible solution be to offer an agreement where we don't pay for the training, but we pay for the work? Like, if you're holding this position, you will receive a stipend for doing this work, not necessarily holding a qualification that allows you to be eligible to do that work.
These 5 special officer positions do get a stipend every year, and that's figured into their hourly rate. It's unpensionable because they're not necessarily going to hold that office for their entire career. So those 5 positions do get a stipend.
So then what's the increased value add to the city for paying for the training if they're already getting a stipend for doing the work?
Well, they're getting incentives. You don't have to hold one of these special officer positions to get this certification.
Right.
Anybody can get it.
Right.
However, the officers, we want them to have that. We're telling them, if you're going to hold this position and be in this important position, you need to have this training.
So I guess I don't necessarily, at the moment, I don't necessarily agree that we're creating the correct system of incentives. I guess at least on the surface right now, and I'm willing to have the discussion, but I would like to see the city pay for work and have the incentive be that I need to go get that training in order to hold that position that comes with greater compensation. Not pay, because potentially if you only need one of each one of these qualifications and you have 6 people qualified and you've paid for that, the city is paying for overqualification. Whereas if you allow people to apply for that and you help them achieve that training to improve their resume, then it improves their ability to compete and apply for those positions. It's kind of a different...
Anybody can apply for it. It's done on a yearly basis.
Sure.
And I would not want to hinder anybody from going forward to get a certification.
Sure.
More training is always better.
Correct.
So telling them unless you want to be one of these special officers, don't even bother getting the certification because we're not gonna do anything.
But isn't there a stipend involved if they get that special training? They're getting that incentivized stipend every year for having that training? So they get that on top of their regular pay. So that stipend is the incentive to go get that special training, correct?
Not necessarily.
Well, if you don't have that training, then you don't get that stipend, right?
If you don't have a certificate, I think we're getting mixed up here. There is a
Yeah.
list in the contract of probably 10 or 12 certifications. They're incentive-based certifications. If you have these, you get X amount of dollars a month. This one we're specifically talking about carries a $35 a month. And what we do is we take that, multiply it by 12, divide it by the hours worked in a year. And it comes out, $35 a month comes out to 15 cents an hour. So anybody who has that certification can go out there. Maybe that's their incentive because they want that 15 cents. I honestly don't care why. They're getting more training. I have a smarter fire department, period. And our captains and our lieutenants don't have to worry about these guys as much. They know they've had this training. They can make some of these decisions on their own without having to check, which frees up a captain or lieutenant to make the big decisions.
I'm of the opinion, I'm not really in favor of a side letter of agreement for this issue. I would rather see this come up in contract negotiations the next time it comes up.
Again, like I said, it was an oversight on our part when we did this last contract. It was not something we foresaw.
And I can appreciate that, but, that's just my opinion. I think it should wait till the next contract negotiation. That's my opinion.
I certainly, for one, can see where you're coming from there. I'm not necessarily in favor of mid-contract
Side letters.
negotiation, side letters as well. But nonetheless, would you be willing to put down kind of the issue, the resolution, and the value to the city in kind of a one-page paper for us to kind of consider and like have for posterity to this discussion?
I think it would help because right now we're getting lost in some of the.
I agree.
You know,
There's a lot of moving parts to
Yes.
this
It would
explanation.
be a lot easier if we had something in black and white that we could really look at and study.
Sure, I can do that.
So I think
Table this.
maybe at this point,
Motion to table.
we send motions and start a new motion to table. For
Baker and Comnick, rescind.
Oh, yes, rescind.
Motion to table.
now we need a motion to table.
I move to table this.
Second.
Vote to table, Councilmember Comnick,
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer,
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich,
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. Next, item C, bill number 26-02, resolution to declare certain equipment excess and no longer required in the operations of the city of Kewanee and directing the city manager to dispose of the same. Nothing lasts forever. This includes equipment used by city employees. When city-owned equipment outlasts its useful life expectancy, it becomes necessary to dispose of that equipment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Discussion?
Are these, we got new AEDs, is that what, so we're getting rid of the old ones is all?
Correct, yeah. The people we bought the new AEDs from with the grant money, were gonna offer us $2,000 on trade-in, found an aftermarket company to pay $6,500.
When
Does this cover both yours and the police department?
Police department does not have AEDs.
Oh, they
I mean,
don't? They did at one time.
They might have had shock
Of course, I haven't been there in 15 years, so, but at one time we had AEDs in some of the squad cars. How many AEDs are we talking about?
3 of them. So we're getting $19,500 instead of $6,000.
Dang cheap. They're proud of the product.
I see nothing wrong with that.
No.
Okay. No, you only have to save one life to make it worth it.
Sure.
Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Colomer,
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Comnick.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. Item D, Bill number 26-03, resolution authorizing the fire chief to purchase equipment related to a FEMA fire prevention and safety grant to install Knox boxes on all qualifying public buildings in the city of Kewanee. The city has received a grant to install Knox boxes on many of our public buildings. Proper use of the Knox box should allow both fire and police quicker access to these buildings without causing significant damage. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
First off, Chief, could you explain for anybody that may not be aware what a Knox box is? Can you explain?
Sure. Knox box is a secure metal box that's affixed to the outside facade of a building. Inside, we lock a key to the business so we can get in the front door in case their fire alarm's going off, something along those lines. So we don't have to break the door down and cause damage that the business owner's gonna have to pay for. There is only one key that opens that box, and the fire department has it. So businesses don't need to worry about a key. No, not everybody on the fire department has one. Nobody else in the city has one. It's there for their protection, to be quite honest. I'm sure you were a police officer for a long time. How many times you get false alarms in the middle of the night and you gotta wait for the key holder to show up? Or, oh my goodness, it does look like smoke in there. We better break this window and open the door to find out it wasn't. And then you got a broken window to fix. So
But with these Knox boxes we're gonna get, who's gonna be installing them at the businesses?
that is part of our grant agreement with most federal grants. They give this much, and the city's responsible for 7% usually
Right.
is standard. In this instance, when we made the application, ours would be an in-kind payment. We will be doing the installations ourselves, the firemen. We'll be using our business inspection list to go around and find all these qualifying businesses. And we will have the business owners sign waivers, so in case something happens while we're putting them in. I don't foresee any of that, but I've talked with Zach, and he's gonna make sure we have all the proper documentation to do this correctly.
Have we heard some feedback from the businesses?
I've had no less than a dozen business owners already contact me out in public or call the office wondering about it. And just so everybody knows, we'll be doing this basically in quadrants in the city, so you might be hearing from us within the next few weeks. You might not be hearing from us until next fall, so it depends on how fast we can get this done.
How is this gonna impact your guys' staffing levels and overtime and things like that?
That is our in-kind. We formed a committee that they'll be going out and doing this. They can do some of it on duty, as if they were going out doing building inspections, but there will be overtime paid out of the grant money for them to come in off duty, so it doesn't take forever to get it done.
So out of the grant money, we're paying $163,000 for Knox boxes. How much grant money did we get for this?
We got $166,000 plus our $8,000 is our responsibility.
Yeah.
Ish.
So we figured that the 6,000 or the 3,000 plus the 8, I mean, we're looking at about 11,000 and we'll cover the overtime cost.
Easily.
Okay.
This is 325 boxes.
Correct.
We talked about whether they qualified. Do we have a standard public?
No,
or
to begin with, it's, we go to businesses, schools, places like that. First of all, it needs to be an occupied building. We're not gonna go put it on an empty building.
I guess I would just encourage y'all to create at least something that you can point to and say, this is why you're priority 3 and we're not there yet.
It's a simple quadrant move. I mean,
But not just quadrants, but, I mean, because if you have 325, obviously you don't want to use 300, not that you would, but you don't want to use 325 in quadrant 1.
No, I got you there. No, we've got a list compiled of businesses in Kewanee when we do our building inspections each year. So we know how many are out there.
Sure.
And we expect to have a few extras in case new businesses open up. We'll have them there for them.
Okay.
That's great. I think it's awesome.
Any other questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic.
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. Item E, Bill number 26-04, resolution ratifying the expenditure of funds used to purchase a Stryker Power Pro 2 power cot for use by the city's ambulances. This item will allow for the purchase of a striker power cot. The cot was originally approved in the current budget, but is now coming in at $693.02 over budget. The cot is used by fire personnel and ambulance services. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
So
Fire Chief Nate.
We bought 2 cots when we got the 2 new ambulances. Third one, which one, where's this one going?
We have 3 ambulances. 2 of the 2 newest ambulances that we have came with the cots.
Okay.
We had purchased years ago used power cots, and they've outlived their usefulness.
Okay.
So this is technically our reserve ambulance, but it gets used quite a bit.
Well, I think for less than $700, I mean, we'd eat that up with one injury, and this will, will help prevent injuries to our
We also just
fire
got
personnel.
significantly more selling those AEDs, so I think we could forget the 693 on that. But is there a need for the other ones to be, or the reserve to be replaced? Is it?
Yeah, with these cots, they have a 7-year life that the preventive maintenance program will support. It's way past that.
What do they do with the old cots?
We're trading it in for $2,000, so.
You can't trade them in, that's good.
Yeah, so this new one, and this is the idea, the other 2 cots that we have are fairly new yet.
Yeah.
We can rotate those out, so we're not using up the newest cots first and burning them out, same approach we take to vehicles.
Well, they have the same, I don't know how these things work, but can they be used in any of the 3 ambulances?
Yes.
So out of the 2 new ones we got with the brand new ambulances, if we take this in the reserve, we can switch out, the cot interlinks to the same?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic.
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer.
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. Item F, Bill number 26-05, ordinance directing the sale of excess real estate located at West 5th Street. The city of Kewanee owns various properties within the city limits. When possible, we make every effort to return those properties to the tax base. Most often, that is accomplished by selling those properties. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this until we get a little bit further information as we go to put this up for bid.
I'll second it.
Before we get in the whole,
Absolutely.
approve or send, let's just get it over with.
Okay. Councilmember Comnic.
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer.
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. Item G, Bill number 26-06, resolution to authorize Ameren, Illinois to install streetlights in multiple locations for the purpose of improving public safety. We take public safety very seriously. At times, safety can be accomplished by something as simple as adding lights to areas that need it. Do I have a motion?
Second.
And discussion.
My concern with this one is that when I read the code, all of these addresses are within 500 feet of the intersection, and there should be already lights at those intersections per our code. And so there's also no cost analysis with this bill, so I don't know what we're agreeing to install these 3 lights. And I don't believe that the need I don't believe that the installation of them meets the requirement for city expenditure of city funds. I think it meets the requirement of a resident's ability to request that they pay for the install of these lights, and then we can consider doing that. So I'm wondering who's on the hook to pay for these.
Do we have an estimated cost?
The cost is minimal. Courtney, do you have any idea what our streetlights usually cost?
I don't remember the last time we installed one.
I mean, like on a regular monthly basis. Okay.
So, I mean, I did kind of a cursory inspection here, and there does seem to be poles in the vicinity that these could be mounted on, but nonetheless, it's more the process that I'm speaking about here. and how the request, so this is the first request of this nature that I've personally seen. And when I go to the code, it says that lights will be installed at every intersection and then can be installed in between intersections at a spacing of 500 feet. And they should be installed to minimize, or what should I say? Minimize the distance between lights or optimize that. But essentially, when we look towards our budget, I hesitate to set precedents where residents can just request lights that aren't in accordance with our code and what that could potentially do to our budgetary needs.
I don't know how much I would increase our bill, but I did just send a message to somebody that I know that paid to have one put up in front of their property, and we'd see what they responded, what it cost. I don't remember what it cost them, but just to get an idea.
So somebody requested a street light to be put up and they paid.
Yeah, it was a private property and they paid for it to be put in front of their house. And I don't know what it cost, I don't remember, but I just sent them a message to hopefully they'll respond to it shortly.
I'm sorry?
This private property?
Well, all three of the addresses are residences. I don't know what the nature of the request came from, but as we read the code just says, this is where city will place lights and residents can request, but if it doesn't meet the criteria for the code, then the financial burden should just initially be on the resident.
Just like the resident.
I know, we requested a light on where I'm at, and they said it was too close, so they didn't meet that requirement. So they said no, and it's very dark, and they said they told us no. So yeah, I'm not just saying that because of me, but I mean, you're right.
So this is exactly what I'm speaking
So
about.
if you would have paid for the light, then you could have got a light there.
Well, the option they wouldn't to us. Yep, they would. Remember?
Yeah, they wouldn't.
And so this is.
If it doesn't meet those requirements, doesn't matter who's paying for
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't matter. Yep.
So
make
that
sure
would
we're
be the
consistent.
thing, because I've already submitted these to Ameren and they've said yes, like they can do them, they just need the approval. So there must be, I personally have not checked each location. Since these requests, I know where they're all at generally, but
Are these residents that have called in to say they?
one was a resident, one was a business owner, and I do not remember the third.
Nonetheless, I just want to make sure that we are applying our codes consistently.
Sure.
And so that we.
I'll be real honest with you, I didn't realize that was a code. Not something I had looked at, so.
I also would like to suggest that maybe our night shift with our patrol officers, when they run across an area that is seemingly dark, that maybe they can notify us of those areas.
Well, coming up on Clare Street, it's pretty dark, and they told us no because there was not enough light between there.
Ameren told y'all that. Is that-
I came to here, and they said Ameren said no because it wasn't interesting.
Yeah, a few times people have said that they called Ameren and Ameren said no.
Yeah, we can do that for sure. I guess a couple clarifications. Is this more of a traffic safety, as in public safety, or pedestrian safety, as in like accidents, or
public
just like
safety.
safety as like,
Yeah.
more light, less burglars type thing?
I would say all the above.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably
Well,
one
the
more.
resident-
I mean, for street lights, that's really gonna fall into traffic safety. There are manuals out there. I don't know the names of them off my head, but I've looked at them for like specific for lighting. I think they say like every 200 to 300 feet. That's the norm. I don't know if that's with our code or not.
Our code says 500 and all the road intersections.
Yeah,
And believe me, I'm all for illumination.
Yeah.
I just want it to be equitably distributed.
And I agree that in some areas you run into the issue where trees have overgrown, and in the summertime when they're full of leaves, it blocks a lot of that light so that it's not illuminating the entire area that it's designed to illuminate. So, I think there could be some exceptions.
And we don't get too many of these requests. I think in the 5 years I've been here, this is only the second time we've put one in front of the
I
council.
think this is the third total since I've been on the council.
Yeah, so it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, that's definitely, we can look
As we
at the
bring more
code.
light to it, a precedent could be set, and then people could just be requested, or denied, like Tyrone. Maybe just because you asked for it.
But yes, we can do that for you, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'm not saying no because I got said no, so I'm not.
I thought that's what you said, why you're saying no. So we're gonna table this one until we get more information.
I would like to know what the budget impact is at least, and what our city assessment is, and then, but it does currently.
Haven't got a response for the cost to put it up yet, so.
I mean, it can't be too,
Again, I don't want to vote yes, but I also don't want to vote no and create a situation where we, I personally don't have enough information.
Okay.
Valid? So would you, as a group, prefer to table this?
I would say one more
Get
council
further
meeting, it's not gonna hurt
information?
to get the right information, the
So
impacts
then
and
we need to
costs.
rescind the motions.
Yeah, take it back.
And now we need a new motion to table.
There's got to be a better way to do this.
No, there's not.
All right.
That's why I caught us before the last one.
No, yeah, move to table this.
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Colomer?
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich?
Aye.
Councilmember Baker?
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic?
Aye.
Mayor Moore?
Aye. Item H, Bill number 26-07, resolution authorizing expenditure of funds under the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority grant for community policing and DART services. The Kewanee Police Department operates in the Drug Alcohol Addiction Response Team program, commonly referred to as DART. KPD was recently awarded nearly $75,000 by the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority. The grant is for support of community policing initiatives. The City Council must approve expenditures and receive reimbursements through the agent. And I talked to the chief earlier and asked him if he would just give an overview of some of these agencies, these programs that they are involved in, so that we have a better understanding of what this grant is for.
Yep, so I mean, if you guys remember our DART program, we had funding through the federal government that was cut. We left about $40,000 on that table. That really funded our unit, our DART program, to let officers go out into the community, or if they run into somebody on duty, to pay for taking that extra step to maybe help them with substance abuse or mental health issues. We used that DART van to transport people down to like Decatur, I think was one of our farthest trips we made. Yep. And so these funds are partially for that. There's about $25,000 to kind of get that program running. And the rest of it is something that I might talk about because it's his baby.
So yeah, the other part of it is it's neurofeedback is what it's called. And so you do the neurofeedback along with talk therapy. And this is a program that Braveheart Advocacy Center started, and they ran out of grant funding for it. So they let Johanna go. She started her own practice here in Kewanee. And in talking to her, we know how beneficial it is. I've done it with her. Some of our employees have done it with her. And the idea behind neurofeedback is it helps, it like monitors your brain waves, and it helps your brain process trauma. And studies show that within 10 sessions, there's a 38% increase in your feelings, your mood, 38% decrease in depression, anxiety. So the idea with the grant was to be able to purchase the equipment that we now own, and then Johanna, we will contract with her to treat people. So there's enough money to buy the equipment and provide 10 sessions to 30 people in our community.
And I haven't seen recent reports, but I know at one point the life expectancy for a police officer was very low, and the number one killer of police officers was suicide. So I think it's very important that they do have, mental wellness, as I can think of many situations where I definitely would have loved to have this available.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the first responders, it's changing. It used to be a stigma for mental health. People wouldn't come forward. We're pushing that it's okay to do that, especially with Johanna. She has 30 years of experience with traumatic events and dealing with that, or helping people through that. And so she was able to help free of charge with Braveheart, some of the officers. And so that's why we wanted to push this and bring it to our community and help people who are in some situations they don't know how to deal with. Or one recently I just heard of was somebody who dealt with a very traumatic phone call that they took where somebody committed suicide and they can't afford the therapy because their insurance won't pay for it. So that's a community member that we can say, hey, here's 10 sessions, get you started, get you feeling better. Maybe they can finally find some money to pay for it, or their insurance will take them. But it's pretty wide open of what we're looking for. Anybody with a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, even their children, if we can get their child in there and break that cycle and hopefully plant a seed for something way down the road.
In my profession, we started doing that. And I tell you what, I mean, I went through a program like that myself. Not that I was impressed, but I just went through it. And I wish I had it early in my career.
Yeah.
It is beneficial. And it's something that's serious, and it's an issue we have in America.
Yeah.
So these sessions that you're talking about, I know we talked about officers, but these are for community members. Are we doing officers as well, or first responders, not just officers, but first responders?
Our insurance covers it, and there was a recent change to the law that first responders don't have to pay a copay. So technically, our officers or any of our staff can go for free. They're free. They don't have to come up with a copay. But Johanna has been gracious enough that if there's somebody that's having a really hard time, she just takes them in and donates her time, because her philosophy is if she can help keep us on track and in good mental health, then we can be there for the community and recognize that.
She does that now for you guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, she
Before.
did until the
Braveheart, yeah.
Yeah, Braveheart kept their equipment and sold it. So that's why we wanted to purchase it under the grant. So, and actually, in addition to, I just found out on Friday, the Henry County Mental Health 708 Board gave us a grant of $37,000 to add to that program. So our biggest challenge right now is not overloading Johanna with these sessions, because they're about an hour long.
Where are we going to put this at?
So part of the grant pays for, we thought she was going to lose her building or her spot. So that's what we applied for with the grant, is to have a neutral location in case somebody doesn't feel comfortable coming to the police department.
That's what I was going to ask.
But we will do it at the police department as well. If there's some type of concern of safety, we'll do it here at the police department. Once Johanna is comfortable enough, we can move into a spot where they feel comfortable going there and not coming to the police department.
What liability do we have as a city to hire her to conduct these and get treatment, but maybe someone goes and does something throughout treatment, after treatment, blames it on that, or?
So this is all in her practice.
Okay.
She's just going to use our equipment, which is the equipment that she's always used. We just own it now. So then that way, if she were to leave or quit or retire, we can keep that equipment and use it for somebody else.
So she covers all the liability under her practice,
Yeah.
under her
Yeah.
license, under everything?
And she just invoices us for the
Okay.
sessions.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I think it's wonderful.
I think it's all, yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome initiative, great
Very
session.
much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Cernovich?
Yes. I thought we did.
I thought we did.
I say aye.
Okay.
I'll do the first. If we did.
Okay, so we had it. Great, thanks, appreciate that. Councilmember Cernovich?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic?
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer?
Aye.
Mayor Moore?
Aye. Item I, Bill number 26-08, resolution authorizing the renewal of an agreement to provide information technology services for the city of Kewanee. In today's world, technology has a strong presence in nearly every aspect of life. To remain current, the city has outsourced technology services for the past several years. This bill, if passed, will extend services with our current provider, Access Systems. Have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I like the cost savings.
Yeah, I want to personally thank you for all the work that you have done and the savings that you have been able to find.
You're welcome. Just got to pay for it up front.
It's always a stumbling block, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was actually something that I told Casey today. I said, I'm gonna talk to Access and say, like, hey, this is something you need to say, like, hey, this is an option on the table, because we were this close to signing it, and I was like, hey, is there a cash option? The guy's like, oh yeah, 89,000, and we're like,
Are you
how's
sure?
this working out, you know? And he's like, yeah, it's about like a 12 to 13% interest rate we've been paying on.
Yeah.
Kind of a no-brainer.
Never hurts to ask.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Thank you again.
yeah.
And I want to, before you go, give him just a little bit more praise. I really appreciate him taking on this project. He went through and worked with all the departments to figure out who had what and what needed to be replaced versus what would like to be replaced. And he put a lot of time and energy into this, and so I appreciate it.
It's all my years of trying to piece things together before we finally got it.
Yeah. Much appreciated.
Yeah, real quick, I need to correct something. Katie, the neurofeedback in dark would not be possible without her. So she did a ton of work on that, and I forgot to mention that.
I think we all appreciate
Yeah.
how valuable she is to the city.
100%, so,
But
I think a lot of
thank
things
you,
wouldn't be
just the
possible.
same.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, on the current bill, any other discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
So I just need your direction on whether we're doing cash up front or
Oh, cash up.
just needed that clarification. Thank you. Vote? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Baker?
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic?
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer?
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich?
Aye.
Mayor Moore?
Aye. Item J, Bill number 26-09, resolution ratifying an agreement with Lavalier Construction Incorporated for emergency water service bore and pipe installation at the City of Kewanee wastewater treatment plant. This resolution is for emergency pipe replacement at the wastewater treatment plant. The work was completed by Lavalier Construction. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Chris or suggestions? Discussion? Please call the roll.
Didn't see that coming, huh?
Councilmember Comnic?
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer?
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich?
Aye.
Councilmember Baker?
Aye.
Mayor Moore?
Aye. And item K, Bill number 26-10, resolution authorizing the inclusion of retaining wall concrete staining and an anti-graffiti coating in IDOT project 64L94IL81 reconstruction. This bill is for work being proposed on Route 81 within city limits. This is for work not covered by what the Illinois Department of Transportation has planned. Proposal will add a stamped surface as well as an anti-graffiti surface to the retaining wall that IDOT will eventually build. It will be much more appealing than the plain wall IDOT has proposed. I have a motion
So moved.
Second.
and discussion.
That was something, I didn't know they had that capability to do that. That's pretty neat. I didn't know they had that.
I don't think anything's 100% foolproof.
I know, but I mean, he was a
It's
possibility.
anti.
Yes.
It'll definitely,
As an entrance to the city, very important to make sure
Absolutely,
it is.
it's, I think the benefit is it much easier to clean off rather than
Oh, yeah.
preventing it.
Yeah, that's right. It's a non-sacrificial coating, which means it should last for like 10 years and make maintenance easier overall 10 years.
So after the 10 years of life, what is the cost to recoat it, or do we have to do the full scope that we did here?
No, the stamping and staining of the concrete is the majority of the cost. The anti-graffiti coating is about 25,000, 23, 25, something like that. And it's going to be applied to 639 yards of concrete. So at a 6-inch thick wall, that's several thousand feet. Not all of it will be above the ground, but of the parts that are exposed, it'll be, about 10 years from now, we'll go back and replace it for whatever the inflation cost is on that.
I didn't know if you had a full scale, do the same thing that we did 10 years before, or if it's just like touch up or just some like.
Yeah, and at that point, you would probably end up doing some sort of surface prep before you reapply the coating. but it probably wouldn't.
Not very invasive though.
Yeah, you'd still maintain that same texture and the color that's on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure we're not getting ourselves involved in something that's gonna cripple us down the road, you know, with actually keeping up with it, so.
Any other comments, questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Colomer?
Aye.
Councilmember Cernovich?
Aye.
Councilmember Baker?
All right.
Councilmember Comnic?
Aye.
Mayor Moore?
Aye. And last is a proclamation. Kewanee recently had a resident, Rosabelle Moore, turn 102 years old. I had the privilege of attending her birthday party at Kewanee Care Nursing Home. I'm going to read the proclamation that I read at Rosabelle's party. Whereas Rosabelle Moore was born on December 31st, 1923, and on this day celebrates the extraordinary milestone of her 102nd birthday, and whereas living more than a century in a rare and remarkable achievement, reflecting a lifetime of experiences, resilience, and contributions that span generations, and whereas Rosabelle Moore's life represents a living connection to our community's history, having witnessed and experienced profound changes in the world as well as our nation, state, and community over the past 102 years, and whereas her longevity stands as a testament to the strength of character, perseverance, of wisdom, that serve as an inspiration to her family, friends, and all who have the privilege of knowing her. And whereas the city of Kewanee takes great pride in recognizing residents who live lives exemplify endurance, dignity, and the value of community. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that I, the mayor for the city of Kewanee and the city council, do hereby honor and celebrate Rosabelle Moore on the occasion of her 102nd birthday and extend sincere congratulations and best wishes for continued happiness, good health, and cherished moments with loved ones. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Kewanee to be affixed this 31st day of December 2025 and read during her birthday celebration on the 7th day of January 2026. She is, I've only known her for a few months, but I tell you, she is remarkably sharp. She doesn't get around real well. She's pretty much confined to a wheelchair, but she is able to walk some. But for 102 years old, her mind is pretty good. And I was also made aware that we're going to they're going to be celebrating another birthday shortly, where there's another resident that's going to be turning 100.
Wow.
So we've got two of them in a relatively short span of time there. And I'll get more information to you on that one as I learn it. So now it's time to move on to council communications. Councilman Colomer, it's your turn to go first.
My big thing is our water right now. I've gotten complaints from residents not receiving their water bill, getting shut off. There has got to be something that we can do outside of just the payments and things like that. When I talked to you, Casey, there's two types of payment systems that we work with, right? Can you explain the one and then how one resident is paying by that and they pay a set amount, but then they got shut off for $60 and I get it, our leeway is $40. But if they just set it and forget it and we shut them off, but they don't have a history of paying, I mean, there's a lot of issues right now, and I've fielded a lot of complaints with shut-offs, with late notices, with everything. And I mean, I myself came in the 18th of December not knowing that they pay on the 20th, or it's always on the 20th, 2 days before that, and I was late, and I didn't know that we did that in December, and I'm on the city council, and so, there's just a lot of things that, and I still have yet to get my last bill, my last late notice, this bill, a late notice or anything.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack here.
Let's unpack it because
let me
a lot of people are,
we had learned, so bills go to the post office the last business day of the month and they're due 20 days later. So in November, that's always an earlier date because of Thanksgiving. That means it's due earlier in December. Instead of it being around the 20th, it's closer to the 16th. So we learned that bills were getting delivered late. We had some come in that were later than normal. And so we started talking with the local post office. I have a couple connections in other post offices. So we learned that, first off, they don't like our postcards. We're not the only community that does them, but they get stuck in the machines, they get torn up, they get stuck in magazines, those kinds of things. So oftentimes, and I'm getting this from postal workers, when the facility gets them, they'll put them off to the side and they'll run all of the other mail first. Our water bills used to go from Kewanee to Peoria. We had them there by a certain time. They would go to Peoria same day. Now nothing leaves same day. It'll go tomorrow. The plant in Peoria got rid of their third shift. So that's one less shift that is processing the mail, so it's a little bit slower. We also learned that sometimes when they get set aside, they can be set aside in the wrong place, which causes them to go to Springfield, to Chicago, to Decatur. There's 4 other postmarks that we've seen. So that was the big issue with December's bills and December's penalty bills. In trying to work all of this, for the bills that were due in November and the bills that were due in December, we did an unannounced, it was about 10-day extension for everybody because we knew they weren't getting bills or they weren't getting them on time.
In December, that was?
Yes. Yeah, so it started to happen in November that people were getting their bills later. And then December was a bigger issue.
So all the bills in December that were late have a 10-day
Grace period.
They had an extra, I think the original shut off was on a Tuesday. We didn't, I guess it was closer to 7 days. Original shut off day was Tuesday. We didn't start until the following Monday.
What about the
to do
10
shut
day for
offs.
the late fee?
So they're due 20 days later. If they're not, so they were due December 16th. Penalty bills went to the post office on the 17th and were due the 30th. And then the 31st is when we should have started shut offs. We delayed that until the following week to give everybody a little extra time.
So we didn't get a grace period for the late fee.
We didn't give a grace period for the late fee, but we did give a grace period for shutoffs. So on our bills, it has always said failure to receive your bill does not relieve you of any penalty fees. We do our best to educate the residents on when bills are due. We encourage them, if they haven't received their bill, to call and find out how much it is, when it's due. Since all of this has happened, we now have a sheet at the counter that we're giving everybody that has all of the due dates for 2026. We are also doing a mass mailing that explains all of this, ways to pay, or how to do automatic withdrawal through the city, has all the due dates, those kinds of things. Now, if they're set up through PSN, which is our electronic, how we take credit card payments, over the phone payments, web payments, residents can set that up to have it come out on a certain day. They can set it up monthly, even if their bills are every other month. They can set up a certain dollar amount, and they can pick the date that it comes out. So we try to educate them. Don't have it set at any later than the 15th, because due dates are always before that time. So then you avoid a penalty. So if they have it set.
Is there a reason we have this arbitrary 20-day and not just that's the day? It's the 18th every month, no matter what day the bills go out. So it's a minimum of 20 days?
That has been our code since Christy worked here over 10 years ago.
I guess the only thing, my opinion in all of this, is that we are, I cannot say it loud enough, we are here for the citizens. If something is not working for the citizens, it is on us to fix it. If that means change the code, let's change the code. We know we do that all the time.
We do it all the time.
So I just really do not receive very well the pushback on the citizens. We need to fix the problem and engineer the system to make sure that it works for everybody.
Okay, if you guys want the code rewritten, just direct us on what you would like to see.
I would love to, and so like that's where I think like this conversation really should be rooted in, and I appreciate the root cause analysis on the post office side, but I really am not I mean, I understand that the late fee, okay, if you did said you didn't receive your bill, but when we see a significant statistical increase in people that don't have late billing history, that's time for.
So I have gone through of all the list of people that were actually shut off, not just on the shut off list, but actually shut off. And there was about 38% that have not had more than 3 penalties and never been shut off. So like, sometimes it happens, you just pay your bill late. But, so 38% of those that were shut off are not, like, pay their bill all the time, on time.
Right.
So those people that got shut off and had to pay a reconnection fee will receive a credit on their next bill for that reconnection fee.
Awesome. Yeah. Because I've had people say, I pay it, I do this,
Yeah.
I've never, and they got shut off and they didn't even know.
Yeah, so they will receive a credit for that. It's kind of hard to do it ahead of time until you kind of know what impact we're looking at, but we're seeing people that are never late, don't get shut off, and so that's not completely their fault. Yes, they should know when their bills are due, yes, they should, but it's not completely on them. And while it's not completely on us, we want to go that extra step and reimburse them for that.
Thank you. I think that goes
So-
You
both
also
ways.
mentioned the online opportunity.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different ways they can pay.
Can we talk about this PCH that you're talking about first? Because I had one.
PSN.
Whatever it is, PSN, PC, whatever it is, these
Yeah,
three
so-
letters. So the question I have is, one resident, they set that date, they set the amount, they didn't know their water bill went up. And it goes up, it goes down. So should they be, if you're on that, should you be monitoring every month, every couple months, every what? I mean, they were
Yes.
$60 over and they got shut off. They've never been shut off, never had any issues until recently, and they haven't seen a bill or anything. So
Yes.
Well, so I guess I'll do the same thing. You get a blank card, but don't say how much it is.
yeah.
And I saw to my wife, like, how much are our bills? I don't know. And I just it's automatic. So yeah. I agree
Okay,
with
so that's a separate thing. If you have automatic pay through the city,
that.
then we take that bill out, we take that payment the day before the due date. And it does say on the bottom left-hand side of your bill, $153.27 will be deducted from your account December
does it say that? I
15th.
didn't see it. Okay.
It's on the bottom left-hand
Okay,
corner.
I'll look at it.
So is
But
that
on the
the,
right side, it'll say like $0.
Yes, that's why I see
Yeah,
the zero. So
yep.
what's
is that the preferred method that you would say that somebody should get on and pay their bill instead of the other way? To
Yes.
avoid the situation that this one resident had?
That is the easiest way to
It
make
is.
sure your bill gets paid. With a caveat,
Okay?
if those people aren't good at budgeting, if they're not always gonna have the money in their account the day before the due date, then don't do it, because we can't like call this month and, hey, can you take me off and put me back on it? Like,
So it's a call the city, have them do that.
there is a form to fill out, and that is part of the mailing that is going to every resident, every business, everything. That it's just a simple form, it's a voided check, we put it in our system.
Got it.
The form is in a locked file cabinet, and it's just a couple extra clicks that Christy does when she's doing the bills.
I will say, I agree with you, because when I was doing the water bill, same thing, wait 20 days, but it has changed my life tremendously.
Yeah. Well,
Doing that seriously.
I've probably been late 3 or 4 times because that's so confusing on what day it's due on the dang thing. You don't know if you're the due date or the
Right.
date.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sign up to get your bill by email.
Now you can receive your bill by email, and you can still get the paper bill if you want it. Can't guarantee when it'll be delivered.
I still have yet to get my November, or my October and December's. Never got it.
That doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. So yes, emailing, you get it the day that they go to the post office, you get it in your email. Also, if you have it set up for email, make sure you're checking your spam. It comes from noreply@locust.com, but it'll say in the subject line, Kewanee water bill due December 16th, 2025.
Yeah. I just think we have to, like Adam said, we have to find a way. I mean, obviously there's been an uptick in late charges that we've been, shut-offs, I mean, everything, and we have to do right by these citizens to figure out a way to fix this. I mean, obviously, it's an issue that has happened more recently. I feel like it started around my October bill. I didn't see anything, you know, and then I was like, wait, I think I have a water bill, and found out coming up here, like, yep, I'm late, and I paid a late fee for it, and I never saw anything.
And it's possible it started before that. We didn't start to recognize it until November, and that's when we started making phone calls. Christy was also able to talk with somebody that works for the UPS that actually handles client complaints, and she was able to take our official complaint and run it up the flagpole. And we think that might have helped because December bills or January bills started to be delivered very early.
Oh, I was gonna say December bills, I still haven't got.
Yeah, no.
I got
You
mine
probably
the day
did.
before it was due.
I didn't get any.
Yeah. But January bills were being delivered by the 4th and 5th. So
I would like
the
to-
situation is resolved, but we've got.
I would like to still visit that whole 20-day thing. 20 days seems weird. You think it'd be 30 or, I mean, maybe there's a reason that.
That's what I would like to find out. I mean, I know Christy did a good job when she came in here, explained everything when we looked at the water rates.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a reason why.
Yeah, I don't want to break it if it has to be 20
Yeah,
days.
but I'd like to do a little bit
It
of
just seems
research
odd.
on it to figure out what it's about, why we do it.
Why wouldn't we make it 30?
Yeah, it just seems weird.
Yeah. So, I would like to get to a place ideally where I don't have to do math.
I said, during holidays, we may change my life.
Yeah, it's like always the third Thursday.
Same time, yes.
Anything else?
No, that's all I wanted to get on, to make sure the residents, I fielded a lot of calls, a lot of complaints about it.
So did
and
we.
I know you guys did, but I did
Yeah.
too, and so as, you know, being elected by them, I wanted to
Yep,
make sure that they
absolutely.
knew their voice is heard.
Absolutely.
We are doing something about it, some of those shut-offs will receive credits.
Yep.
So, and hopefully, we don't have any more of these issues going forward, or very limited.
Less issues going forward.
That's all I have.
Councilman Cernovich.
Thank you for the water bill. Obviously, that was a big one for everybody. A couple other, it's been a while since we last met, but I have heard from a couple other residents. I would like to just, again, publicly address this, see if there's some solutions or standards or processes that we could improve. One of them is city vehicle home use. I know that currently, just because of the emails that I requested information, that it's something that can be approved by the city manager. Again, no surprise, could we have a policy or a standard or a win? You know, because I just don't want, budgetary issues are huge, miles are critical, fuel is expensive. When and why are we going to allow vehicle home use for city vehicles? I think, you know, in the federal government, it was strictly prohibited. So it's kind of uneasing for me that we're allowing it, and I would just like to know when and why we would allow it. And then maybe a standard for, so with all the big snow, it was certainly impactful. It hung around for a little while. I know we were very appreciative. Some people on some tertiary roads and dead-end streets are kind of wondering what the standard, some of them are private roads, some of them aren't. But I don't know, Chris, are you taking maybe a review and a kind of a 30,000 foot view of how we approach snow removal?
Yeah, I think we probably heard some of the same complaints. We definitely have some little areas that we have gone back and looked at how we hit those routes and given additional instruction to some of our newer drivers. So, yeah, I think a lot of those little trouble spots that we had probably won't be an issue anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, we're always looking to improve the efficiency of the routes. So we're wide open to feedback from anybody from, you know, any end of town. If you're getting missed, let us know.
Awesome, thanks.
Sorry.
Unless you're a private road, we don't do private.
One other
roads.
thing while we're on snow removal, did we get that truck delivered in December like they said that would be from Koenig or?
No, it's sitting in Peoria right now. It should be delivered sometime this week.
Okay, so I mean, we're close.
Yep.
Okay.
Councilman Baker.
Well said.
Words. Councilman Dominic.
I just had the water, but now I'm thinking maybe we contact our 100-year-old residents and they might have better input.
Very well could be.
They might be able to tell us the 20-day rule on the water bill.
At least they know what's been tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. We're all good.
Okay, that comes to me. I just have a couple things. On behalf of the city, I would like to offer condolences to the family of Kenny Goochelaw. Kenny was a longtime business owner in and around Kewanee. He was one of those people that was always around to help anywhere and everywhere. And you never had a conversation with Kenny where his prized possession did not come up, being his antique fire truck. So I just want to say thank you, Kenny, for the many wonderful memories. And then I had a resident contact me today and made this suggestion. As we hear a lot of people, a lot of discussion around town where people claim there's not enough to do in Kewanee. And one suggestion that was recently mentioned to me, as I stated, is, our two school districts are very involved, from sporting events, band concerts, drama clubs. The youth of Kewanee is very busy and they all deserve our support. It generally does not cost very much to attend these functions. And I know the students and faculty of our school district would definitely appreciate the support. So if you're looking for something to do, check your schedule, see if there is a game that night or one of these other functions. That is all I have, and I do believe we have some city announcements.
City Hall and the transfer station will be closed Monday, January 19th for the holiday. There are no changes to trash or recycling.
I just want to I did receive a response back. They couldn't remember what the cost was to install the light, but their monthly bill, it's less than $10 a month that they receive in addition to their bill. It shows separate what that light costs, but it's less than $10 a month.
Okay. And go Bears.
And go Bears. Except for your wife.
Yes. Even more for Paula. Go Bears.
She told me to
Go double for Paula.
You gonna be allowed home now?
I don't know, man.
How about a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Cernovich.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Comnic.
Aye.
Councilmember Colomer.
Aye.
Mayor Moore.
Aye. We are officially